My father-in-law's palm. Haftarat. This time there's no choice, right? When I wrote about Haftarat b'Shalach, I managed to ignore its poetic nature and focus mainly on a proper interpretive question. Who is fighting? There's no way I can pull something like that off with Haftarat Azinu. Haftarah that's entirely poetic, paired with a parasha that's entirely poetic, right? Well, it's not that there's nothing to say about David's song. The Haftarah V'Azinu, with its 51 verses, is a chapter of poetry entirely devoted to thanking the Master of the Universe who protects David and gives him the strength to fight his enemies. David attributes his special connection with the Creator to his deep devotion. In the song, there is me, David, saved because of my righteousness, him, Hashem, who saves me with his abundant mercy, and then them, his enemy, who seek his death. Me and him against them. It could be interesting to examine this approach in song and in Tanakh in general. On the one hand, it could be argued that it's a bit haughty and isolating. Is there no one else on your side? Is it all because of you? On the other hand, one can see that with David, there's no division in blame either. It's beautiful to note that if something doesn't work out, David's first response is, I have sinned. Unfortunately, I'm not going to pursue this investigation further because of two verses, or more precisely, two fragments of verses. Despite the sweeping claim, which I generally stand by, that in the song David's world is divided into David, Hashem, and them, there are two instances where David deviates from this. The first is in the opening verse. On the day Hashem saved him from the palm of his enemies and from the palm of Shaul. Biblical commentary rightly asks, why does Shaul merit a separate palm? The accepted answer, Rashi, Radak, Ralbag, Yalkut Shimoni, and others, is that the threat from Shaul was equivalent to the sum of all other threats combined. Thus, the word palm, kaf, takes on a double meaning. David was saved from the palm of Shaul, meaning his hand, that could have reached him, and Shaul stands on the scales balancing all of David's other enemies, also a kaf, moznaim, much like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai in Pirkei Avot, who compares Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus to all other sages of Israel when they stand on kaf moznaim. The weight given to Shaul by these commentators could stem from many reasons. As David describes in his lament, Shaul was a mighty warrior whose sword never returned empty. According to Tanakh, Shaul also succeeded in establishing a vast and strong kingdom across most of Yehuda, Shomron, and the Galil, earning the respect, admiration, and support of the population. Add to that the personal vendetta and the fear of moving freely in his own home, and Shaul becomes David's greatest threat by far. Abarbanel offers another reason for this distinction. David may fear Shaul, but he doesn't hate him. After all, he wouldn't violate the commandment of do not hate your brother in your heart. Therefore, he doesn't define him as an enemy. This is why Shaul gets his own category. He's not among the enemies, but David still needs salvation from him. I love Abarbanel's interpretation, and I'd even like to propose an upgrade to it, though I must also qualify it. Shaul may see David as an enemy, but David remembers the Shaul about whom it is written, and he loved him greatly. He also doesn't forget that this is the father of Yehonatan, who loves him as his own soul, and of Michal, his beloved wife. As Abarbanel notes, David doesn't see Shaul as an enemy. However, as Rashi observes, this makes the situation far more complicated. From an enemy, you expect hatred. You're used to them trying to kill you, and in the worst case scenario, and I hope you'll forgive my lack of political correctness, you can kill them. These things are less acceptable when it comes to your father-in-law. Add to that the emotional difficulty, and you get a non-enemy, Abarbanel, whose pursuit is equivalent to the challenges posed by all enemies combined, Rashi. As I said, I really love this interpretation. It captures a complexity that can be seen in various parts of the biblical narrative. It strikes the right chords on the soul, leaving a nice fuzzy feeling. It just doesn't align with the other fragment of a verse I wanted to discuss. In verse 18 of the song, David refers for the only other time to a singular fierce enemy. There are many attempts by commentators to identify this enemy as someone other than Shaul. But I can't understand, for example, why David would see Paro, king of Egypt, as a fiercer enemy than all others. In practice, the only enemy David singles out in this song is the one I just tried to define as not an enemy. It's possible that with more time and effort, I could have found a way to force the verses to say what I want. I won't do that today. Instead, I'll use these final lines to say that even in this song, I didn't address the poetic motives and ignored the connection to the parasha, so all's well that ends well. In memory of my beloved and heroic student, Amichai Shimon ben Ishayim Bat Rubin Hashem Yikom Damo, Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.